Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Reds, and it is a special live episode of Red Zone. This is going to be hopefully a weekly live session. Myself and Roms, hopefully, maybe try to keep it a weekly thing if we can. Roundup of the week, PSG game, Southampton game tomorrow, transfer news, Arne Slot swearing at Michael Oliver. That did come out earlier on in the week, and Oliver got put back in his place a little bit. Roms, first of all, mate. I mean, it's been a good week, hasn't it, for us?
Oh, it's been an amazing week. I think smash and grabs, for me, are the most satisfying results because you kind of just get results that you don't really, I'm not going to say deserve, but you didn't really expect as the game was going on. And I think 1-0 is always a refreshing result. And I believe we had a game plan and we implemented it. I know the narrative is we didn't really play well, but we implemented our game plan as good as possible. But I think it was a good weekend, and obviously we've got a game tomorrow where we can. For me, again, in a title race, you can't always just assume you're gonna win, but it's a Southampton team that's rock bottom, haven't accumulated that much points, could break Derby County's record of the lowest point total. And I think it's a game where we should kind of express ourselves. I would make changes though, because PSG are going to be tough at Anfield. I still back us to do the job. But I think the midweek performance, it was excellent. And I think it's a bit disingenuous just to say it was on Alisson. I believe that Arne Slot needs to take big credit as well, because the substitutions also won us that game. Yes, the individual brilliance from Alisson, we know he's the best in the world for a reason. But I think when the game was starting to become a bit stretched, to put on Nunes, to put on Endo, to put on Curtis Jones, to put on Elliott, and the two subs literally combining to score, I think it was amazing, to be fair. Yeah, it was an onslaught by PSG, but at the end of the day, we did what we had to do. We were resolute, and I think you're seeing that a lot under this manager. This is no shade on Jurgen Klopp, but I think at times with Jurgen Klopp, we'll go gung-ho and we'll just kind of concede goals that we shouldn't really have. But Slot's just he's a bit more tactically astute with this set of players, and Klopp laid the foundation, so obviously you have to thank him. But we can win games in more than one way now. We don't really have to be energetic. You saw it the Man City game a couple of weeks ago as well. So I think it's been a really good week, and hopefully tomorrow it gets even better.
You know, what's so funny about that PSG game, right? You said there, like, yeah, it was a lot of down to luck. If we're honest, we're absolutely lucky. I think PSG sort of lost the Reds towards the end.
Yeah.
They started to shoot from anywhere, weren't they? I think their game plan working at the beginning, of the first half, if they kept their composure, maybe that's experience that PSG just don't have. Yeah. If they get composed a little bit, I think they might have gone on to win. But like I said, Arne Slot, you know, substitutions are spot on. If his game plan was to defend, then it worked perfectly. It worked against Man City. I think we're better against Man City as a whole.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, right, that 1-0, I don't know what's worse, 0-0 or 1-0 going back to Anfield. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
At 0-0, we've got to go to Anfield and score. Our mindset will be, we need to go score some goals tonight. With 0-0, we're going to need some goals. At 1-0, it can be quite dangerous game to play, because at Anfield, I think we'll still want to go score goals, but we've still got that little bit of comfort. You know what I'm saying? Comfort, I don't want it to be too comfortable, because if PSG play like that again, and I'm hoping we don't play that again. We can't play like that again. There's no way.
Yeah.
But if PSG play like that again, 1-0 up, it could be trickier than what we thought it could be, if that makes sense.
But that's what I completely understand your logic. That 0-0, we would have that. We have to score. It's not like we're protecting anything, but I just feel that's arguably when I say one of our worst performances, I don't mean defensively. I mean when it comes to the attacking display, for the vast majority, before the subs came on, probably one of our worst attacking performances. And that's not even just from our attackers, that's from our midfield as well. I think Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch were misplacing passes. We couldn't even string 2 or 3 passes. But the only positive I would say is we can't get any worse than we were attacking wise.
Don't jinx it. Do not jinx it. If we
I know they jinx it, but I just don't think Anfield will allow it, because I'll be honest with you, I've been to quite a lot of games this season. Like I'm there tomorrow at the Southampton game, and a lot of our Premier League games can be, sometimes the atmosphere can be subdued and kind of going through the motions, but European night at Anfield, it never is. Like, it never is. So I just feel the crowd won't allow it. And I know I'm not trying to jinx it, but I just think we will be better than we were at the Parc des Princes. And I even think maybe even if we're not as good defensively, we'll be better attacking. And let's be honest, we didn't really have any sustained attacks at all that game. But there were times the break was on because they were pushing so high, there was space back. And that's where Arne Slot's a genius, because he noticed that. That's why he put on Nunes, because that I need to stretch this game because they're going gung-ho, but there's spacing behind. And our goal came from route one ball. Nunes brings it down. Lovely weighted pass to Elliott. Elliott slots it in. And I just think with Anfield, I think we might give a little defensively to give a bit more attacking-wise. And I just think the crowd won't allow us to be quite defensive. That's why I think we get the job done. I think it'll be very tough, by the way. I think your PSG are going to have a similar performance that they had at home at Anfield, but it's different. Tighter pitch. They're going to hear their ultras because their ultras travel quite well, but you're also going to hear another 40, 50 plus. There's more of us than there is of them. So I think we'll do enough, but it'll be tough. I can even see maybe the game even ending in a draw, and I know this is where sometimes you were saying you don't want to get too complacent and comfortable because we are already ahead in the tie. But I can see PSG bringing the game to us, but I just back us at home, especially in the European.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I just back us. Yeah.
What do you make of that? The rest of the Champions League, though? Obviously, we can get Arsenal on our side. I think Arsenal. I think they're through. We don't know yet. We know what Arteta's like. We know what escape off. I think they're through. I want to say they're through, right? So it's Arsenal through. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. That's still on a knife edge, really. Real Madrid did get the win, but Atletico Madrid going back at home, it could be overturned. Who do you want? I know who you want. Who do you think we'll get in? That's if we go through Aston Villa. That is Aston Villa pretty much throughout the beating Club Brugge away. I expect to beat Aston Villa. Semi-final, Madrid's or Arsenal. I know your answer for this.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it would be Arsenal because our experience would just. I think our experience will prevail. They still got a young squad overall. They've not won anything as a team. European nights, I think the occasion will get to them. They'll play the occasion. We'll actually play the game. But again, I don't think they even reached the semi. So you already knew I would pick Arsenal out of the three. But if you ask me who I'd want out of Atleti and Real Madrid, it's Atletico Madrid, because Real Madrid are that team where I think their last 4 or 5 Champions Leagues they've won, they've not played particularly great, but they just don't have to. They have that know-how. You can be battering them pillar to post and they score out nothing. The 2022 final showed that. And I kind of want a bit of revenge with Atletico Madrid, because if you remember under Benitez, when we got knocked out of the Champions League, they came to Anfield with Forlan and Aguero and they knocked us out there.
Yeah.
And then even the lockdown, I know we had Adrian in goal, and I still believe to this day, if Alisson stayed fit, I think we actually win both Champions League and the Premier League. But they also knocked us out then and late in extra time. And I feel like we need to get one over them in knockout football. I know we beat them in the group stages. I remember Naby Keita. We had that kind of that McDonald's kind of kit. It was a luminous yellow.
Yeah. The yellow one, yeah.
It was an amazing display. So we have beat them in recent years at their place, and we beat them at Anfield. But in knockouts, they've knocked us out. The last 2 knockout ties against them, and I kind of want that revenge. And I just believe they might even play better than a Madrid. But I can see Atleti playing better than a Madrid against us, but us advancing, where Madrid will play worse against us, but they'll still go through. I just have PTSD.
Yeah. So we've got pretty much bad blood with both Madrids, haven't we, really?
Yeah, we've
got some unfinished business with both. I mean, and just like Atletico Madrid, we beat Real Madrid in the group stage this time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to knockout, we can't beat them.
Exactly.
We can't beat them. Exactly. I think Arsenal's clearly the one that I think every Liverpool fan would want. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful moment to play Arsenal in the Champions League.
You know what?
It'd be just brilliant.
I checked the calendar. If Arsenal and Liverpool do reach that semi-final,
Same week, innit? It's the same week as we play in the league.
We played them 3 times within 9 days or something. It's crazy. No, less than that. It'll be 3 times within 8 days. Yeah.
I think that's what neutrals want, you know. I think neutrals would want us to sort of drop off a little bit in the league, get a title race with our proper title race. Right now, it's not really a title race. Until we need to capitulate a little bit now for them to be back in it. What neutrals would want us and Arsenal head-to-head title race, us and Arsenal in Champions League semi-final in the same week as well. I think that is a perfect whatever Sky, TNT, whoever wants to promote it. That's perfect for them. But yeah, Real Madrid out there in Champions League and the heritage for it. So other than the Champions League this week, we've had some big news. Transfer news. Isak is just completely every single day. It's Isak news. With Liverpool, Arsenal, Liverpool City battling it out for the striker. I've said many times like Isak is the complete striker. He's a perfect striker for me. That I'd love him at Liverpool because he don't just only score goals. He brings wingers into play, drives with the ball, he creates space. He's got everything that Arne Slot would want. Injuries a little bit of a head shake. He did get injured recently, but he's been all right for majority of the season, which has sort of been a bit better. Isak, Rom, is he the one for you? And are we going to pay that though? Are we going to pay that?
Unfortunately, the only way I see us funding a deal for Isak, I think Núñez leaves. I think it's kind of accepted from the majority of the club and the fan base. Even if you still defend Núñez, I used to be his biggest supporter, but sometimes the misses become unforgivable. Obviously, while he's playing red, I'm gonna back him, but I think ability-wise, we'll need a better than him if we want to carry on winning trophies and stay competing. So I think he goes. I think Saudi coming through because remember they offered 60 or 70 million in the summer, and obviously January I think, and we turn it down.
Yeah.
I can see Luis Diaz maybe departing. Salah obviously still up in the air as well, but I think maybe 1 or 2 would have to leave for us to fund an Isak, and it's evident with our history under FSG. When the Coutinho money got us the 2 missing pieces to our jigsaw in Alisson, Van Dijk, and you could even add Fabinho into that as well. So we don't normally pay. That wouldn't even just break our transfer record. That would smash it because I don't think we've signed £100 million player. I think in euros Núñez was that, but in pounds he was actually 60 million. The 25 million is more add-ons, and I mean if you have to pay add-ons, that's a good thing because it means you've been successful in some right. But I just believe unless we sell about 2 forwards minimum, and that excludes Salah because we're not even going to get money back for Salah if he leaves. So unless it's like a Núñez and a Diaz, I can see maybe that deal working because I actually feel we're a club he will come to. Apparently he's just got a new house like kind of up north. Newcastle and Liverpool, not close, but it's not million miles.
It's north, isn't it? It's north. Yeah.
It's north, exactly. It's north. And apparently he's got a new house up there. I think we would break our wage structure, especially if 2 forwards was to leave. God forbid it, especially if Salah was to leave. That would definitely free because Salah's on about 350 now. That would free up some money for his wages. In terms of the actual bid, we would have some money so not even just wages, but we'll have money from offloading players. But I'm like you, Damon. I think for me, he's the best striker in the league. Yes, Haaland's more clinical. The goal record speaks for itself. But like you said, in terms of the complete striker, dribbling, finishing, bringing others into play strong, I look at Isak and I don't really see a fault in his game. I actually don't. I think he's the perfect number 9. But like you said, he never really gets that injury that keeps him out for a long time. But he gets niggling injuries where 1 week
little ones,
the other week he won't be here. But I just believe that. Do I think we'll go in for him? No. I can see us maybe going for a cheaper option, whether it's a Kudus or a Cunha or a Semenya. I can see us going down that route. That's kind of the FSG model. But would I love Isak? Is he my number 1 target for the summer? 100%. He's he's the type of forward that takes you to a league. And I think if Salah was to leave and we got Isak in, we're gonna miss him.
We've got to get. If Salah leaves, mate, we've got to get Isak. We've got to, because I'm thinking with Salah, right? You need to replace every attribute that Salah brings. So you'll get someone that can be creative like Salah is. Get someone that's on the wing, but we need to replace those goals instantly.
Facts.
And that, for me, there's no wingers out there that can score Salah numbers. We need a striker that can do it, and that's Isak for me.
And I also think with it, Isak, if he will play centrally as opposed to Salah playing out wide, Isak would also, I think, improve the output of the wider players as well because of how he is as a striker. But I would love Isak. That would be the dream. Imagine if Salah signs an extension and we could still get Isak. I think we're looking at back to, obviously that's the dream, but I think we're then looking at, I think the title's done. I know you're still being very wary, but I genuinely think.
No, I've said it's done. I've said it's done.
Oh,
I've said it's done. I've put it out into the universe. I've said it's done. But check out TikTok. I've said it's done.
Fair enough.
I said it's done.
It's just that when you just said now, I felt like you were a bit reserved, but no. So we're on the same page.
No. I think it's done.
I think if Salah stays and Isak comes, I think we're looking at retaining the Premier League. That's how big of a signing I think that is. Mm-hmm. So that would be the dream, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm on board with you. I think if you ask me what's one player LFC could sign this summer, it would be him.
Isak, Salah, Gakpo as a front three. That's just got goals written all over it. It's got goals written all over it.
Yeah.
And I did a TikTok on it. Actually, thinking, how can we create that Firmino, Mane, Salah sort of trio like them? I know Firmino didn't really score as many goals, but as a trio they were the elite.
Yeah. And
I think Isak completes that trio to make it elite. That elite of Mane, Salah, Firmino.
Yeah.
For me, other positions that we do need to strengthen. Other positions, left back's quite clear. Kirkes is the one that's been linked this week.
I think that's the one that gets over the line, you know.
But yeah, do you think that one? Do you think that one's the most likely?
Do you know why? I just think I think they're best friends or good friends in Szoboszlai, his compatriot. I can just see. I think that's going to get done. I know we've looked at other left backs. Robinson from Fulham, Nori from Wolves, Jarrell Hato from Ajax, good friends with Gravenberch, and I think Gakpo as well. But I think Kirkes is the one. You've seen Fabrizio, you've seen Ornstein linking us to him last couple of weeks. We're in for him. Apparently, we've already started negotiations. Szoboszlai, I think many times you hear once a player's joined the club, he was. Sometimes they'll name a player within the team. He was pivotal in me joining that. I mean, they're both in the UK, both from Hungarian. I think they're speaking every day. Szoboszlai putting a word in his ear, like, come. Especially if we're in the Premier League, you're joining a team that has success. You obviously want to join that. We're a massive club at the end of the day. So I actually think Kirkes gets done. 60 million, I think, is being quoted, or 50 million for a left back. It is a lot, but in this modern market, that's what you have. That's the going rate. So yeah, I think
we've got to really use the players that we've got, right, and get them sort of on. Nunes, if say we get Isak 120 million, say 120 million just for argument's sake, sell Nunes for 80 million. You're only paying 40 million for Isak.
Exactly.
Same with like sell Simicast about 15, 20 million. It takes money off Kirkes or wherever we're getting left back. It takes money off that. And we're not asking for much there. But in the past, we haven't been given that extra to go get these signings. Yeah. Like when we bought Nunes for 85 million or whatever it was, we sold pretty much 3 players that transfer window that accumulated to like 70 million. So we didn't get much added on. And that was the same summer when we went for Tchouaméni earlier. So we wanted a midfielder early because we went for Tchouaméni the first few days of transfer window. And by the end of the transfer window, because we spent a budget on Nunes, all of a sudden we didn't want a midfielder. That was the narrative that we pushed out. We didn't want a midfielder. And then it was the same one where we got half Miller last minute.
Yeah.
Panic buy.
Yeah. And
because we realised, hang on a second, we do actually need a midfielder.
And you saw how that season unravelled. Do you know what I mean? So that's why
it fell apart.
Yeah.
And we can't have that up again. I don't want another. No, I can't be asked for these boring transfer sagas like the Caicedo, your Bellinghams. Bellingham was used as an excuse not to buy a midfielder for 3 years. I'm bored of that. Caicedo lastminute.com, trying to get him last minute, even though he'd already signed for Chelsea practically. And if we want players this summer, if we want Isak, we need to start early.
Yeah.
We need to go get our man early. We do not piss around all summer saying we're not interested in that, we're not interested in that. Linked to all these players, monitoring, which I have in my description all the time, monitoring. Bored of it. If we want a player, we need to go get them.
Yeah.
And we want to build on what we're doing this season, because when we won the league under Klopp, we won the league and the Champions League, we didn't build on that. Didn't build on that rightly.
And that's the thing. Like, I think the summer where we won the league, we did just not in the areas we particularly needed to, because to sign Diogo Jota and Thiago Alcantara in the same summer, that does send a message, because Jota was one of the most sought after strikers at the time for Wolves. And Thiago Alcantara, in my lifetime, Damon, he's probably the only world-class player we've actually gone out and got. I think the Suarez is the
already world-class, yeah.
They all had sky-high potential, and you knew they could reach high potential, but they weren't the finished article when buying them. Where Thiago, I think in my lifetime, is the only player that we've actually bought as the finished article. So I just believe that that summer, I would actually give us a bit of credit, but I still think we still probably needed a DM. We still probably needed a centre back that summer, but because we had credit in the bank and we were the league champions, I think everyone kind of rested on their laurels, and that was was very unpredictable, because that game at Goodison was just I call it the nightmare game, because you had Van Dijk out for a whole season, and you had Thiago out for like the next 3-4 months. That horrendous tackle from Richarlison. So then not even just Van Dijk. You then had Gomez that fell injured. You had Matip that fell injured.
Matip got injured, yeah.
Kabak and Nat Phillips. So that was a very unpredictable. No one thought that would happen this season. I remember at a point we had to play Hendo and Fabinho as centre backs because we literally had none. So I just believe that. But I get the gist of what you're saying. That even when we won the Champions League, I think it was Harvey Elliott, the keeper,
Van der Berg and Adrian.
Yeah, that was and I think there was a young keeper that we also signed as well. But that's not a window that shows intent that you want to go forward.
Yeah.
And I think when we won the Champions League and then we won the league, things aligned for us. We didn't really get mass injuries. I think we only got one key injury to the 11, and that was Matip, and then Gomez came into the fold. But bar that injury, the other 11 predominantly stayed fit for the rest of the season. And remember, Klopp used to throw away the domestic cups. And then when we had the early exit to Atletico Madrid, if you remember that our title run, it was basically just the league to the end of the season. We were knocked out of quite a few things quite early. So yeah, I just believe that I agree with you. I think now we've won the league, in my opinion, and in your opinion, right? I just think now we show intent, because I've already said this. Van Dijk and Salah leaving is the difference in us going back to back or potentially being in a top 3, top 4 battle. I think Slot's got enough credit to still keep us in the Champions League places, but they're two players that are pretty much impossible to replace.
And not only that, though, if them two go, the likes of Konate are looking at it and thinking, are we actually serious about building on what we've done here? Because he's already having doubts about his future. Konate is waiting. Exactly,
and he's got a year. It's crazy because him and Alisson speak about Van Dijk, Trent, and Alisson out of contract in 2-3 months. Konate and Alisson from this summer have 1 year left, and we're just sniffing around Konate apparently. And it's just, we need to tie these deals. Because we're winning the league and we're doing well. We've got a cup final next week, and we're doing well in the Champions League. I feel like because we're winning, no one's really focusing on it. But
no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it. That's what I get. Yeah, no one wants to talk about it.
It's gross negligence, because we're turning into an Arsenal. You know, I love to banter them, but under Wenger, when they let that Van Persie, Nasri, that Fabregas, all their best players go down to their last year, and they're selling them for peanuts. I know context back then, 30-40 million was a big sum, but like you can't let your best players get to their last year. That it just doesn't happen. And I know there was a lot of factors, Klopp leaving, and then even when Klopp came in, they prioritized the midfield overhaul instead of contract situations. But I think we rested on our laurels, and God forbid it comes back to bite us. I don't know if you've noticed, I've not even mentioned Trent, because I kind of accepted a while ago.
Yeah, I think everyone has. Yeah, I think everyone
I
has.
would love breaking news, Trent is signing it. We bounced off the walls, but Jude being his best friend in Madrid, better weather. And the thing is, Trent won everything there was to possibly win by the age of 23, 24 at Liverpool. So he might be looking at it like, I've given my best years here. He would have won he potentially at the end of the season, we could be speaking about multiple Premier Leagues and Champions League. So I don't know what it'll be sad to see him leave, but I'm at peace with it. If he does a U-turn now, I'll be astonished. But Van Dijk and Salah, I think when it's all said and done, Damon, I'm not just saying this because we're Liverpool fans. I do think them two stay. I just think it's the long haul. I think we drag it to as long as possible because I see a lot of things that come out. Apparently, I don't know about Salah, but apparently the Dutch newspaper Telegraph or whatnot. They apparently said in like November, Christmas time that Van Dijk's it's already signed. They're just waiting for the perfect time to reveal it. But you get all of this noise and you don't really know what to believe. But apparently, once the league's wrapped up or the last couple games of the season, apparently we're then going to reveal it. But I think out of the three, Van Dijk's I think the more nailed on to stay. But in terms of Salah, that's the one that it's weird. It's like Van Dijk, I'm sure that he stays. Trent, I'm sure that he goes. Salah's just the 50-50 one. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure.
I think I've been the same as you though. Like Salah and Van Dijk, they're the two that I'm thinking they've got to stay. I've accepted Trent's gone if I'm honest. If he does turn it around, then I'm more than happy for him to keep him. But I've always prepared myself though, because we are run by FSG. I am preparing myself for the worst. That is all free leaving. Yeah. I've got to mentally prepare for that.
Yeah.
That is not it won't shock me, if that makes sense. It wouldn't shock me if it happened. I still do think that Salah and Van Dijk stay. Before we go there, lad, Slot told Michael Oliver what for. He finally came out what he did say to Michael Oliver, saying basically you're to blame if we lose the league. Yeah. You know what? There were two sides of that I got right. I like that he said that to Michael Oliver on it. Yeah, I like that he said that to Michael Oliver. Because these referees need telling. They've got a big ego.
Yeah.
They need telling sometimes. They're humbling. However, I don't like the fact that I said you're to blame for us losing the league when really in that specific game we were shit.
Yeah. And you know what? Do you know what? Damon, like I said this to a friend. I love that he backs the players. He expresses his emotions. But when he said if we don't along the lines of if we don't win the league, I'm blaming you. I'm like, no. If we wasn't to win the league, it would be because of us. It would be all the other 37 games. It won't just be solely on one game because even if after that game we were still ahead by I think 4 or 5 points anyway. So I didn't really get that. But context is key in everything. Emotions were high. We just conceded last minute. He felt that with the added time stuff in that game in isolation, right? I've always said. I rarely complain about decision. You've followed me for a while now. I rarely complain about decision. I look at performances, and I know it shouldn't be like this because the refs are all incompetent. Not just for us, for most clubs. Arsenal probably the most. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But they are incompetent for a majority of teams. Every team this season could probably conjure up 4 or 5 unjust decisions against them. This is why when we lose, some fan bases just. I'm someone that doesn't really make excuses in my everyday life anyway. So I kind of just look at performances, but I feel like people want the easier way out and people want the scapegoat. And I just feel that added time is minimum. It's key. It's been like this for as long as football, I'd say the last 34 years. They make it key. The key word is a minimum of. It's not a maximum of. So even if it hits what the time displays, you can still go over. It's then to the referee's discretion. And if I'm being honest, he did let it go a bit longer, right? Because I even feel like I think we had a foul or decision against us, but it didn't take too long. It wasn't an extra 2-3 minutes that should have got added on. But I just believe that Slot's emotions were high when he said it to Mike Oliver. I liked it. Shows he cares. Shows he's passionate. But yeah, that league stuff, I'm similar to you. When I heard it, I was a bit like, hold on, it wouldn't be this game. But I get emotions were high at the time.
Yeah. would he have said that like a few days later? Because Arne Slot is always honest, though. He's always honest. He's always like even today, he was in a press conference today to talk about the PSG game. He said, "Look, we're really, really lucky. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really, really lucky." And he said, "Look," he said about the Everton game in the press conference as well, saying we didn't deserve the 3 points.
Yeah.
So I like that he has that. He has that attitude, like, because all he sees on X or Twitter or whatever, all he sees is excuses from Liverpool fans, like, "Oh, the referee did this." Like, don't turn into other fans that are like this. Don't do that. You know, I was like that when I was fucking 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was literally like that when I was 12.
Like, I remember in school and that I'll be like, "Oh, but you should have got a red."
Yeah, exactly.
But you grow up and you realize, don't get it twisted. The refs are shat. We know this. Like,
Yeah.
But do you know what? Yeah, the only time I will actually be fuming is if this situation happened, and it happened to us. You know, when we played Man City at Anfield and the horror decision when Doku on McAllister, right? If it's at the last minute of a game and it like we've played well and it's literally under,
that did actually cost us a 3 point yeah.
Like we don't have time to turn it around. But if, let's say, I always say, even if it's a 90th minute, we got 5-6 minutes to find a way. That's what champions do. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really like to make excuses and such. That's why when I've been on streams or even in conversations with friends, even off air, when people like we should have had a pen or they should have got a red and whatnot, I tend to just kind of go quiet because I don't really like making excuses. Not gonna lie.
No, we need to look in the mirror, and that's exactly what happened. Arsenal in the same situation now, where you see Arsenal fans making excuses when really their whole club's to blame for this season. They didn't go out and get a striker. They didn't prepare for that. Exactly what Liverpool did.
Facts.
When we got rid of Lovren, we didn't go out there to prepare for the season. And when a couple of guys got injured at the back, it crumbled. But that's on us. I didn't blame injuries back then. I said, look, it's their own fault. We didn't prepare for the season. Arsenal didn't prepare for this season properly. They didn't go get a striker. And now they're paying the price. That's just the way it is. I think a lot of fans, a lot of clubs need to start looking in the mirror much more often than what they do. And this is why me and you are on the Red Zone, because it's truth. It's facts. We will take accountability if we need to take accountability as fans or as a club. We will tell you how it is on this channel, and we'll also have the uncomfortable conversations on this channel as well. Just because we are doing well in the league, we are enjoying the season. We're top of the league. We're certainly enjoying number 20, which is coming. But we're still going to have these conversations about the worries of the future. You know, Kanate look like he could be going. We still have those conversations on Talking Reds. We won't ever hide from the elephant in the room, put it that way. Yeah. Thanks, Ron, for joining me tonight. Hopefully next week we're back again for Red Zone. I'll let you guys know when we are live next week. We're going to find the time to get involved, both of us. Red Zone is hopefully going to be a weekly live show, hopefully for you guys, which is a roundup of all the week that's gone on and what's coming up as well. Thank you for watching. Have a great night, Reds, and hopefully have a great week.